bag on the back of your chair or under it. Please put your bag under your chair. A little bit more, please. Minutes.
Oh.
Please put your phone away. Should be writing. This is worth 80% of your grade. I recommend you cover up your papers so people can't cheat off you. You want to get under your chair, stay right there on the tongue. minutes? Please keep your eyes on your own paper. Someone's passing a note. That's considered cheating. Thank you. Keep your eyes on your own papers and be quiet. I had no qualms of failing the entire class. What if I have a question too? I don't know what to do about that. Pretty amazing.
Are you next to coach the site-specific lectures in the new test?
Yeah, just do the best you can. I understand you don't have to. You should be finishing up your final thoughts. Those two of you that just walked in, can you come back here, please? I'm sorry, I didn't know I needed full extra chairs to stand. Which of things are you looking at? You would like to take the last 2 minutes of your test and switch chairs with someone who
Those of you who still have your tests, please pass the books and pencils this way. You choose paper. And kindly put your things up underneath the car.
Yeah.
That includes the soda and
What about the other? I remember meeting you
Yes, outside of
Don't be that guy. Oh, I'm sure it's going.
No.
I saw your answers. They were words. My favorite.
Listen, words are yet the symbols that we try to manipulate into dinosaurs for this test.
Is that the only question?
I am the only question.
Oh, what's
The Kautski.
And now, gentlemen, to the special surprise I have saved for you as a final treat. As you see here, having stained pyramidal cells from the cornuomonas in the left hemisphere of the cervical cortex of a 14-day rat of a special strain, what do we find? They are stained not red, but pink, with a tinge of brownish-violet just verging on green. A most fascinating observation. You are aware that not long ago the Gratz Institute brought out a paper disputing this. Notwithstanding the detailed nature of my own investigations on this subject, far be it for me to make any general comment on the Gratz Institute. The paper in question struck me as immature in the extreme. And now, as you see, I have the proof here in front of me. The possibilities this opens up are quite staggering. One would be able to tell rats with long black hair and dark eyes from those with short rough hair and light eyes by the additional means of this sensitive color index. Given that the rats are similar in age, fed on candy sugar, that they play for half an hour daily with a puma kitten and defecate spontaneously twice nightly at a body temperature of 37 to 36 degrees Celsius. Naturally, the fact that similar phenomena have also been observed under other circumstances must not be ignored. But even so, this observation seems to me worth publishing in full. Indeed, I would almost regard it as a new step towards the understanding of the vast complex of forces which control the universe. And so, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. Happy holidays. Stay safe. You too. Bye.
Professor? Supposing that one does examine this preparation carefully, can one say anything more than I see? So this is not red but pink, tinged with brownish violet, just verging on green.
Gentlemen, please. In the first place, there's a 3-volume encyclopedia by Meyer and Mueller on the staining of rat's brains. As a first step, one would have to go through that.
Can you get this at the library too?
Yes.
Can I borrow this when you're done?
Yeah, actually, you know, Ronne, so much brain Professor, supposing that was done, would it be possible to draw any conclusions, to come up with practical consequences?
Conclusions. My good man, we are not Thomas Aquinas. Have you never heard of the new age of conditionalism which has dawned for our science? We establish the conditions in which something happens. We vary the conditions which make certain changes possible. Theology is a different case entirely.
Supposing, Professor, that one day your entire student audience got to their feet and bellowed at you, they would prefer mysticism of the blackest hue to the dusty creakings of your mental acrobatics. Suppose they sent you flying from the rostrum with a kick in the backside, what would you say to that?
There's something wrong with the exams.
Here's your book on the perforation of the peritoneum. I have no interest whatsoever in describing the state of an abdominal cavity as found on autopsy to an audience of people I do not know, already trained in what to expect. And my brain revolts at this game, this wish to destroy, to break up, simple self-contained naivety of an individual case.
Your reasons are foolish in the extreme, but as you wish, give it to me. There are plenty other gentlemen interested in the paper. If you were less short-sighted than you seem to be, in my opinion, you would understand that this is not a question of this individual case. On the contrary, with every particular examination, the systemization of knowledge, the organization of experience, and a word, science itself is at stake.
Science had its rightful place 200 years ago, when it could prove God's wisdom from the perfection of organs, and the extent of his intelligence and goodness from the mouths of locusts. But in 200 years from now, Professor, will it not seem just as ludicrous that you spend 3 years of your life establishing whether the stains to be used on a particular type of fat is osmium or Nile blue?
I have no intention of discussing general principles with you. You do not wish to do this piece of work. Right. I shall give you another one.
Nor do I wish to discuss the result of the catheterization of Frau Schmidt's uterus, whether the intestinal coils pass through the gap in question in the 6th or the 8th month, nor to tell them how much the diaphragm of a drowned man is distended next morning. The collection, the systematization of knowledge is the most puerile brain work imaginable. For a century now, you've been encouraging the stupidity of the population to the point where the plebes will gawk in respectful silence at any old BF who knows how to work an incubation chamber. But in so doing, you have yet to come up with as much as a grain of thought, of less than total banality. Get one lot hashed after another. Keep your thoughts on the navel and don't forget the placenta. That's all you can think of. You bunch of moles and ape brains!
Excuse you!
You make me spew! The lot of you!
What are you really doing, Professor? Now and then you grab up a fact, so-called? In the first place, it's been discovered already, but not published by a colleague 10 years ago. And what do you really know? That earthworms don't get sores on their backsides? That birds don't use knives and forks? That's the extent of your achievements. Is there anything else you know?
In the first place, it is completely beneath my dignity to respond to the tone of your remarks.
Dignity?
Dignity.
Whose dignity? Who are you? Go on, answer.
I shall frame my reply to suit the occasion. Right, gentlemen. You talk disparagingly about theories. That's no concern of mine. But in a subject of such eminently practical implications, you must admit that serum and salvarsan are not just speculation.
Are you trying to argue that what you're working for is to let Frau Meyer do her shopping for 2 months longer, or to let Kraus, the chauffeur, carry on at the wheel for another 2 months? Well, that's what you enjoy, the fight to keep these nobodies alive. Carry on. Oh, and just to forestall you, Professor, don't bring up the argument about the universal human drive. There are entire civilizations of people who lie in the sand all day playing bamboo blues.
And humane values. Saving a child's life for its mother, or a breadwinner's for his family, the gratitude shining in their eyes.
Let it shine, Professor! Infant mortality and every other kind are as much a part of life as winter is of the year. Don't let us reduce life to trivialities.
Anyway, these practical aspects are of very superficial interest to us. The question which we want to hear answered is this: where do you get the courage to introduce youth to a science which you know to be incapable of any greater insight than a confession of its own ignorance? Just because it suits your shit-like lump of a brain to work out statistics of bowel blockages when you're not hard at it fucking? What kind of brains do you think you have in front of you?
Yours!
Okay, okay. The commanding heights of the intellect. 1,000 years of optics and chemistry. Okay. Okay. There are not too many colorblind people in the world, so you have a certain advantage.
Thank you.
But let me tell you, I've stomached your lies till they make me sick.
Oh.
I've chewed the whole cosmos to pieces inside my head. I've been so out and out logical, I nearly vomited shit. And when the mist had cleared, what was left? Words in the brain. Over and over again, the same terrifying, everlasting brain. Nailed to this cross, caught in this incest, in this rape of things. If you only knew my existence, this torment, this terrible sense that we're at an end, I tell you, you would quietly resign, without fuss, and be glad that you're not being called to account for the brain damage you have caused.
I am extremely sorry if you should be feeling unwell. But if your degeneracis, or neurosis, or for all I know, these medieval mists of yours are causing you to go to pieces, what's that got to do with me? Why get worked up at me? If you really haven't got the strength to join us on the road to the new knowledge, why not just stay behind? Give up your anatomy. Go in for mysticism. Use formula and corollaries to calculate the location of the soul. But leave us out of it. We are spread out over the world like an army, heads to rule with and brains to conquer with. The force that cut axes from stone, that kept fire alive, that gave birth to Kant, that created machines is ours to conserve. The prospects ahead are infinite.
The prospects ahead are infinite.
Get
An
off the
enormous
table!
cervical cortex with a fold in the middle takes a little stroll. Fingers stand up like calipers. Teeth have grown into computers. Mankind will turn into a maw with a machine on top, systematizing. What perspectives? What infinite perspectives ahead? For all I care, we could have stayed jellyfish. For me, the whole history of evolution is useless. The brain is a blind alley, a bluff to fool the middle classes. The totality of life, its overall structures have been destroyed for me by thought. The cosmos roars past on its way. I stand on the bank, gray, steep, barren. My branches hang down into the living water, with their gazes turned inward on the waning flow of their blood and the numbing chill in their limbs. I am set apart, myself. I make no move now. Where? Where will it lead? Why make the long journey? What center is there for us to gather round? When I stopped thinking for a moment, surely my limbs fell off. Something finds associations inside one. Some process takes place inside one. All I can feel now is my brain. It lies on my skull like a lichen. It gives me from above a feeling of nausea. Oh. If I could return to the state of being a grassy field, sand dotted with flowers, a vast meadow, with the earth bearing everything, to one on waves that are warm or cool, no forehead left, state of being lived.
But can you not see the dawn? All around our bodies? There's the eternity. There's the primal stages of the world. A century is at an end. The sickness is conquered.
A dark journey, the sails streaming. And now the music of home is heard across the sea. Who is to say what has driven you away?
A curse, the fall, or something else. For thousands of years, there were no more than mere beginnings of it. For thousands of years, it lay hidden. But suddenly, a century ago, it exploded.
and like a pestilence, it engulfed the world until there was nothing left. But that animal, large, greedy, power-hungry, the man of intellect, he stretched from heaven to heaven, and he conjured the world out of his mind. But we are older. We are blood from the same warm seas, the mothers who gave birth to life. You are but a small channel of that same sea. Come home now. I call you.
Don't let Dr. Ronne mislead you. All this thinking with a clearly defined objective has crushed him.
And it is still there.
Casualties will be inevitable
Perhaps it is
upon
the
our
most human
path.
thing that has ever been.
What
do you think?
Could not all these strange feelings and the other things she talks about, myth and knowledge, could not be angels poisoned in our bloodstream and passed on over the course of evolution? Must we no longer possess a third eye looking back at so much enemies? In 100 years in science, application of existence has changed. Is it not already possible to has not man abandoned partially abandoned speculation and its death by
If you want to produce a race of plumbers, sure! But there was a country once, full of the whirring of dumplings and the thrill of marble from sea to sea, dream and ecstasy.
Brains, soft and rounded, dull and white, a rosy flesh spreading in rustling groves of blue, foreheads soft and blooming, all tension eased and yearning toward shores, the base piled higher coriander than locks to view and fragrant gentle bay, blood now seems ready to burst, temples to serve with hope, in my forehead the coursing of waters about to take flight. Oh, the rush of ecstasy like a dove to my heart, laughing, Stay. Don't send me back. Such a path of dread. Homeward at last, as the blossom falls sweet and heavy from all the world.
Gentlemen, please! What are you trying to do? I am more than willing to meet your wishes. I assure you that in the future I shall invariably get out in my life something that exactly cannot be ultimate knowledge, and the lectures on philosophy should be followed at the same time. I shall not fail to emphasize the nature of our knowledge is open and question! Yeah! Gentlemen, listen to me, please! After all, we're all scientists! We must avoid things like society is not complex! No one will ever know what happened here!
Come with us.
Walk me out. Walk me out here. You over there. Emma, please.
Here's the book.
Come on.
Pick it up.
We're going, come on. This way, backwards. Join us. Come on. It's okay.
Yes.
Come on. Come on. Get the door in. Big dog. Get the door in. Lock the door. Lock the door. Lock it. Take her in. Go. No, wait.
Our blood cries out for the heavens and the earth, not for cells and earthquakes. Yes, we're trampling the north underfoot. The hills of the south are rising up already.
Do what you want.
You think they pee in Ithaka? Oh, wow. What are you doing? Come here!
I know. Like dripping food.
A little bit like triple. Let it go into your brain.
Whatever, if they eat in bed, she'll tell
Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. It's not working. I think she is.
I didn't hear your thing.
I tried to say her.
Would you like a preference?
Hey,
I think I seen her up your back.
I totally did.
I'm trying to put everything in here.
It says Hollis right now.
Yeah.
Nine.
Final.
Nine. Like a cat. I left it in the room. I had a feeling it was
Please follow me. I will now take you to campus.
Okay. Where's my sweater? I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, it was off there.
Oh, it's okay.
Wow. Yeah. I went
No,
to
oh my
house
God.
because I don't know what's wrong with my brain.
This should go to
Okay.
Burn it.
Good job,
Goodbye. We're
Bye.
sleeping stupid in the corner with your PowerPoint. I hope you feel better.